Hey guys, welcome to a new tutorial video. On this video, we'll be making this beautiful two-piece Ankara skirt and blouse. So guys, let's get into the tutorial. Okay, this is a very simple style. And please, if you're not subscribed to my channel, please click on the subscription button. So the first thing we're going to be doing is to cut the skirt of this two-piece. So there is a tutorial on how to cut a simple basic skirt on my page. Just click on it and you can watch the video. But for the purpose of this tutorial, I will still show you the basics of cutting a simple skirt. So you fold your material into two, then you get your waist measurement, your hip measurement, and the length of your skirt, and you impute your measurements. Okay, you mark your center front, you notch it, and then you use your skirt pattern to cut the skirt pattern of the front to cut the skirt pattern of the back. The only difference is the zip allowance. Okay, now for the zip allowance area, you notch it and then you mark your dart. How you get your dart is your bust span, right? Your nipple to nipple. And what I'm working with is 8 divided by 2 is 4, so I'm going to notch it for both the front and the back. Then for the hip, for the zipper allowance area, you mark your hip line, that's 9 inches, and then you give it a little curve like so, and then you cut it out. Now I removed 2 inches from the top part because of the band. We'll be adding a band on this skirt. Okay, so because of the band, that's why I removed 2 inches. Hope you understand. And the curve by the zipper allowance area is to give it shape at the bottom part, at the hip part. Now at the bottom, the hem of your skirt, I'm going to go up by 1 inch and notch it. The reason why is because I want the skirt to be on fold. Like I want the lining to start from the folded part. Okay, you're going to see what I'm trying to explain, but just mark 1 inches from the hem and fold it. Okay, so now it's time to cut the top part. Now this top is a simple crop top. You just take your neck measurements, your normal bodice measurements. The only difference is that this measurement won't be having a dart because it's a free crop top. Do you get? So there's also a video on how to draft a simple basic bodice on my channel. Just click the video on my channel and it will pop up. Okay, there's a detailed video on how to draft a simple bodice. All right, so you just mark your bodice for the front, and then since it's a crop top, you know it's not going to be the normal 25 inches long. No, for the purpose of this tutorial, the length of the top I'm working with is 19 because it's going to be hanging. It's a crop top. Okay, so when you take your measurement, your neck measurement, your shoulder, your armhole, then directly under your armhole, you mark your bust measurement. Now it's your bust measurement that you use to mark the whole complete length of your top. All right, your measurement, whatever you get, divided by 4, plus I added 2 inches allowance because this top that I'm cutting, I don't want it to have a what's it called, I don't want it to have a zip. Okay, now on the neck area, if you watch, I always emphasize that I tighten my neck. I always tighten the neckline because I want to eliminate that sharp edge when you cut out your neck and your shoulder area. Can you see that sharp edge? So to eliminate it, I came down by half an inch, connected it back to my shoulder slope, and then replotted my neckline. Okay, so I'm going to cut out, and then I dipped the front neck by 3 inches, the normal measurement, 3 inches deep, 4 inches wide, 3 inches deep. All right, then I'm going to cut. So I'm going to use this pattern, this front pattern, to cut out the pattern for the back. Please, if you don't understand, you can ask your question in the comment section. I'll try my best to explain. So now I've cut the front pattern. I'll use this front pattern to cut the back pattern. Okay, the only difference between the front and the back is the neckline. On the neckline is higher, right? The front, I dipped it by 3 inches, but the back, I'm going to be dipping it by 1.5 inch. Okay, and then the second difference is the armhole. For the front, from the armhole length, I came up by 3 inches, but for the back, you divide your armhole by 2. So the armhole length is 9 divided by 2 is 4.5. So on that 4.5 line, you go in by half an inch. That's just the difference between the front and the back of this pattern. So when we're done cutting the top pattern, we'll first of all work on the skirt, because I want to show us how to sew a very neat skirt without lining it. So now this is our skirt pattern. You place it on your lining. Can you see that place I marked 1 inch and I notched it by the side? That's where you're going to start your lining. That's where you're going to place your lining from. Okay. The reason for this is, when at the end of the day, when you fold your skirt, you'll be seeing the main material at the bottom. So now we're going to be placing our darts on that 4 inches I marked, that bust span. You come down by 4 inches again, right? And then you notch it. That's going to be your dart leg. So to create your dart line, you go in by half an inch and you just slant it to the 4 inches that you marked already. Can you see? I folded my skirt like so, went in by half an inch and just marked a slant line. This is the best way to create a perfect dart. All right. So you create this dart for your skirt and your lining separately. We're going to be creating the dart for the front and the back separately. Now I'm done for the front. Can you see the dart of the main fabric and the skirt? They are different. Now the next thing you're going to do now is to join your lining to your skirt like so. Can you see how I'm doing? First of all, the front parts of each other will be facing each other, and then you join the bottom on a straight line. Can you see the fronts are facing each other, the back are opposite? Then you join the bottom. When you join the bottom like so, you match it down on your lining part first. After joining the lining to your main fabric, you match it down. Can you see where I'm showing you the lines? You match it down, then you fold it on top. I've matched it down now. So now it's time for us to join the sides. Can you see? I have to join the sides. When you flip it over like so, from that part that I notched, can you see? That's where you start joining. You see that the material is going to be showing. Not when you're wearing your skirt, the lining will just be popping out. No. This is how your skirt is going to look like. Can you see the bottom? Can you see what's starting? The material is what's starting from the bottom part. Can you see how neat the inside is? So you do the same thing for the back too, and then match it down. When you're done for the back, to join your back, right, you remove 2 inches. That's for our band, and then you place your zip. All right, mark where you want to stop place fixing your zip, and then you join the back together like so. Okay, so at the bottom you have to decide how open you want your slit to be. All right, so for the purpose of this tutorial, I think I did the slit 9 inches, okay, 10 inches long. Okay, so it depends on your preference and your client. So you're going to be joining from that part you marked down. So when you're joining, you just close up the zip area, and then you join your skirt together, and then you put in your measurements. Now to put in your measurements, you have to make sure that you pin the center back to the center front, right? So that your skirt will be equal, and then you fix your measurements. So now to mark your measurements, you have to divide your measurements by 2. Okay, whatever you get, the excess, that's what you'll be marking out. So the hip line is supposed to be 21 and I got 22. So on both sides I'm going to be removing half inches. Okay, so now I've joined my skirt. The next thing I'm going to do is to shape the center part. Okay, so from the center front, you fold your material like so. Can you see? On only the center front of your skirt, and then at the center front, you come down by 1 inch. Okay, the reason why we're doing this is so that when you fix your band, is going to sit properly on your waist area in front. It's not going to be popping out. Do you get? So you give it a little curve at the front. You come down by 1 inch at your center front, and then you just cut it out. Hope you understand. Please guys, click on the subscription button and subscribe to my YouTube channel, guys, please. So when you cut it out, the next thing we're going to do is to fix our band. Okay, now we're going to measure from our center back right round the waist of our skirts. Okay, so you're going to measure round like so. Whatever you get, you fold your band. So when you measure your band, the band is going to be 2.5 inches on fold, because I'm going to use half inch to join it to the skirt. Okay, so you fold your band like so, and then you measure the length that you got. Now on the top part, you're going to leave half inches from the bottom. Okay, half inches from the bottom. Can you see? That's what we're going to use to join it to the skirt. Remember, we're making this skirt a very neat skirt. It doesn't need, you don't need to weave it. We're going to sew it in a way that is going to be very neat. So we have to close all rough edges. So you close the edges of your band, and then you first of all fix it. When you fix it to your fabric, to your skirt from the top, then to close it up, you cover it up. Can you see? And your skirt is ready. Can you see how our skirt is looking? Can you see the band? Can you see how simple this skirt is looking? The most important thing in this skirt is the inner part. Very neat. You don't need allowance. You don't need a lining to weave this dress. Can you see how beautiful it's looking? So this is for the skirt. Now for the top, I've cut my lining. I'm going to join my lining to my top and then turn it over and bring it over. So I've joined my lining, I've folded the bottom, I've joined it by the side. Now for the shoulder area, let me teach you how to close your shoulder area. You place your back on the front and then you join it, the material to each other, and then you use your back to cover the front. This is what gives you your neat, it gives you your neat inseam. So for the sleeves, you measure your armhole like so after joining it. Then the sleeve is an A-line sleeve, okay? So to cut a freehand, how I cut my freehand sleeve, I first of all measure 3 inches down, and then the measurement I got from my armhole area, 11 inches. I just mark it and connect it. This is just for freehand, how to cut your freehand sleeves, okay? Now that measurement you got at your armhole area, just draw it down straight like so. Can you see? Then from the edge of your material, just create a slant line to your armhole area. Can you see how I slanted it with my tape rule? So but if you can't make a straight ruler, a straight mark, you can use your ruler, all right, to create the slant. If you watch, the bottom of this sleeve is wider than the top, all right, that's in form of an A line. If you don't have enough material, just like I do, okay? So then you cut out your sleeves. When you cut out your sleeve, this is how it's going to be looking. From the armhole, the bottom part, you slant it, right? This is how it's going to be looking. This is how to cut your A-line sleeve if you don't have enough fabric, okay? And then you notch the center. Now you join it to your fabric and we're good to go. So when you're done, this is how your two-piece is going to look. Very simple, very nice. You can decide to make your skirt short, but I made mine long, okay? So thank you guys for watching. See you on my next tutorial, and please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Bye.